She does she look like a starseed to you? All shiny. I think she
I
looks more
couldn't
like
tell
a
the
fairy,
difference.
but we're gonna call her fairy. We can't call her fairy with her name. It doesn't work right.
Having more people
Charis,
on the
don't
show
make me
is
give
a
you another name.
bonus.
I'm already in trouble for giving one of our hosts another name.
Yeah, that's true. You did rename Sean. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Jack now, and now everybody's calling him Jack, including his own fans. I'm sorry, Sean. I apologize, man. We were doing the news show, and I wanted it to be the Triple J's. So I said, Sean, you're Jack tonight, and it just kind of stuck. And now he's Jack. Hey, people, I can't help you. Y'all calling him Jack. Look, I did not do this. Yes. And what do you mean, Denise? Yes, I do have colored eyes. You want to see the, ooh, they're scary looking right now. What do you mean what color they are? You can't. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're watching this on Roku television or YouTube television, and you've got 4K, yes, you can see what color they are. Matter of fact,
our
if you're
heads
doing
are
that,
bigger
you can tell me what's
on
in
those.
Bob's eyeball. You see, Bob has a little pupil right there, but most people can't see it. Mm-hmm. Yes, actually, there's say about 21,000 watching this on Roku tonight. Yes, I've been quite impressed. Look, usually it's like 300 or 400 people, so I'm actually quite impressed. They came out for Charis. That's all. I never know, to be totally honest with you, I never know what guest is gonna really on when it comes to Roku. It's well, we're getting ready to switch, by the way. So let me say this now, ladies and gentlemen, before the end of the month, probably within the end of this coming week, we will be switching from Roku to Prime. We want to keep both, but we're gonna have to wait and see which one does better, or if it's up to the host, really, because they have to pay for these. So, but we took a vote at the last meeting. Everybody would like to be on Prime, so we're going to switch it from Roku to Prime. Well, Roku has everything on it, and Prime's just Prime. Well, Prime is on Roku, yes. Roku, whatever you want to call it. I don't care.
But also the benefit of being on Prime, anybody who does a search for UFOs or UFO TV shows on Amazon.com will probably show up.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, if you go into Roku search thing, it'll tell you if it's on any one of the channels that's on its network.
If you go to their website,
yeah, they've got. Well, you got to go to the website on the TV. On the TV, there's a search thing on the left side, and if you use it, it'll tell you everything. I use it all the time because sometimes when I'm on Prime or if I'm on Vizio, I can't find what I want, so I go over to Roku and I got like 4 TVs in the house, people. And each one seems to have its own network now. So well, LG has its own. Anyway, it's not what we're here to talk about. But I need the drugs the rest of y'all people are on, man. And I don't know why the camera makes guys like this tonight. Don't ask me. Usually it's way over there somewhere. I don't do these things. Oh, while we're on it, there you go right here. That's the book set the commercial was talking about right here. Let me lift this up. That set's $125. We will be giving it away this Christmas. We'll be giving away 3 of them this Christmas. But that's what you're talking about. It's 10 books. It's 150 stories. Great artwork, great stories. So that is the sci-fi, fantasy, punk writers, steampunk writers for the next probably 3 generations are in those books. Yeah, well, everybody who wins at the L. Ron Hubbard event at Writers of the Future are people who are going to actually turn into something. At least all the ones I've met so far. Yeah, well, they're all one-hit wonders, and they're 2-hit wonders, and there are people that take 500 million years to get into it. 17,000 words, Mark. That's the biggest it can be. 17,000 words. I've already written something that's already 69,000 words. By the time I finish this thing, it's going to be 200,000 words easy. Yeah. And then my friend Emily Goodwin, I'm going to mail it to her and say, Emily, here you go, baby. Read this for me. Well, she's an editor. She's the bigwig over at Galaxy Press. How many people have access to the bigwig? Come on.
Not many.
No, fairness, ladies and gentlemen, I am picking, but you can. Anybody who's writing books, like I said, as long as it stays below 17,500 words, you can submit it. Some
PG-13 or better or lower.
Yeah, or lower. Yeah, there's no sex stuff, no blood, no gore, no none of that. They're really good. I read the stories. So for the last 5 years, I've been reading the stories, and I've read 5 years worth of stories before that. So, or no, about 7 years worth. They're really good stories. I mean, you're not gonna like everyone, but a lot of them are funny, goofy, crazy, stupid, and there's no blood and gore. There's no sex, drugs, or violence, and you can still enjoy it. That's amazing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
People forget that. I know. I get tired of seeing shit. Look, people, I ain't gonna lie. I get tired of seeing shit get blown up after a while. I turned on something the other night and I said, I looked over, looked back. I said, this is going to be one explosion after another. 10 minutes in, I'm like, all right, 28 explosions, time to move. It's time to go to the next show. Now, I got a rule certain things about explosions, or if in the first 60 seconds all I see is T and A, I'm usually not going to watch it. There's only been 2 exceptions to that rule. What do you mean you don't know what T and A is? We'll figure it out because I ain't going to say it. Charis is in the room. I'm going to be polite and not say it. And really, I don't know what to tell you, man. Anyway, that's one of the rules, but there's only been 2 exceptions to that rule. One of them was altered carbon because there's so much nudity in there. It's just, you can't, you just got to leave that alone. Actually, there's so much nudity in altered carbon, it just becomes part of it, which is kind of cool. And then the first year of Expanse, first 2 episodes was just unbelievable. And I usually after that, because I figure if you got to use that as your opening scenes, the movie's going to be crap. And but with those 2 exceptions, I've been right every other time.
Yeah, well, that's why they put all the good scenes in the trailer. They put like 2 minutes worth of good stuff in the movie of 2 hours, and that's the only good 2 minutes. So you get there and you're like, oh, what a piece of junk.
Maybe we should do like a Starseed movie. Somebody was asking me the other day. Somebody asked me. Matter of fact, when I talked to Charis yesterday, it made me think about it. Somebody was asking me the other day, because there's lots of names for different things when it comes to either being born as a well, I hate to use the word hybrid, but because technically Rh negative people are hybrids and or mutants, whichever way you want to look at it, people. Okay, I seen somebody write that. So yes, Rh negative people can be considered mutants because it is a mutated blood. Just like green eyes and blue eyes and every color eyes but brown is a mutated blood. What do you mean, man? There ain't no such thing as a real blonde. What the hell are you talking about? Maybe in this country, no, I'm just teasing. Well, no, the Scandinavian people, John. Come on, man, get a grip. I was teasing, man. There are actually real blondes, yes. So blonde that you're like, wow, get back. You like demons or something. No, they don't look like angels. They look more like demons. But anyway, I don't know how much of the aliens had to do with the Rh negative. Whatever created this mutation, which started a chain of mutations, including the eye colors and hair colors and the way we think, the way we act. Some people think that it activated the reptilian genes in us that brought us more, help us to fine tune our gifts and abilities. It's an argument at best. Well, for some reason, the human aliens, and I don't know, and maybe Charis knows more about this. It's sometimes the human aliens get a really good rap, and sometimes they get a really bad one, and I'm not sure why. It's like some of them pick their favorites.
I think that's the government there on that part.
Maybe so. Well, what do you think? I mean, we'll let the boss lady talk.
I mean, I think like everything, they're not all the same. So different ones have different agendas. And also some things that aren't human will put on human form to not freak out the contactees. So it's hard to lump anything together because there are so many different agendas going on.
What do you mean, John? You want me to get naked?
Yeah.
You want to see
And
my reptilian
form? I started looking into the alien question. I don't know if I'm a reptilian. I know I have a reptilian brain, but since I've been looking at the alien situation, and I started when I was 11. I'm 56. I'll let the audience do the math on that. My math is horrible. There's flip-flopped for the good species and the bad species, whichever one you think is that one way or the other. So since like the 70s through up to today, the grays have been good. They've been bad. They've been good. They've been bad. Same with the Pleiadians. You just pick any one of the 4 or 5 that are constantly on the planet. They've got a bad rep and a good rep. Depends on your point of view and who you talk to. So the real data is locked up in all the black programs that the U.S. has, and what the Russians are keeping from us, and what the English and the French or any other government that has much more knowledge than the civilian. The story could be quite doomsaying for us. I mean, they say in the Bible, God created us in his likeness, which means that we not only do we look like him, but we're like them in the way they respond to things. So just like we have really bad people on the planet and really good people on the planet, all those races have the same exact things. We just need to find out what their agendas are so we know which ones to trust and which ones to kick off the planet. Once we can figure that out and we have the means to do it, I think we'll be a lot better off, to be honest with you.
Well, history tells us a lot about all of that, but it's but it is about who you want to believe. Do you want to believe the human aliens? Do you want to believe the reptilians? Do you want to believe the Greys? See, in the beginning, all you ever heard about was the reptilians and humans, and then somewhere along the way, the Greys got sent here. More than likely, the light being sent the Greys here to keep the other two from getting in a freaking war. It looks like sometimes the reptilians and humans like each other.
I think it's a checks and balance system, just like our presidencies.
Yeah, well, because the rumor always was that when the light beings came to this galaxy, they found the Greys and turned them into what they would call the galactic policemen. They gave them advanced technology, advanced them something like 500 million years in just no time at all. Maybe that's why they're so cranky. No. Bob is not cranky. Bob is a Greys. Actually, I'm telling y'all, Greys are cool. Once you get to know them, you don't. Well, no, it's not like they're gonna have a cup of. No, you mean like some Jack? No, they won't drink Jack, but they'll drink Crown Royal. Crown Royal and strawberry ice cream. Oh shit! That's what Bob Lazar said. Don't hate on me.
You make them a sidecar with a strawberry ice cream. That'd be kind of cool.
There you go. Or a grasshopper.
Crown Royal with a Crown Royal float. I'm gonna have to try that.
What do you mean, John? All right, you want to give us a list of names? Okay. Bob Lazar. What do y'all think? What do you think, Charis? Good guy, bad guy, in between guy. He's Bob Lazar. I mean, he's the strawberry ice cream guy. I mean, come on.
What do you think, Jay?
I don't know. I don't know.
He's a hero of mine, I think. I've watched his story since 88, 89, whenever he first came out on the first interview with him. He was not Bob Lazar. He was Doug or something like that.
Yeah.
And
he was behind the thing and stuff.
A year later, he came out. Yeah. And then a year later, he came out the same interview, but a little more in depth with the same, and I can't remember the reporter's name. However, his story hasn't changed. He hasn't made any profit off. He's actually been arrested several times because of this story.
No, that's because he owns a brothel. That's why he's been arrested.
Well, there's that too, but he also got arrested several times for his rocket cars.
No, that's true too. He got arrested for those too. Yeah,
he's on his street fixing it, and the cops would harass him for that.
No, Jimmy, that wasn't a while till he actually owned the brothel. I think he actually still owns it. Yeah, it's Nevada. He can own whatever he wants in Nevada. Who cares? That doesn't
his
make
story has not changed at all. And the thing that locked it in.
Well, Jay, you're being probed, Jay. See, people, this is what you look like when you're being probed. With one of them electric probe sticks, this is what it looks like. It's like, I'm sorry. I'm blaming all this on Charis. She's a bad influence. Well, I guess he'll just come back when he comes back. Meanwhile, we have Jay frozen. That's because he lives in Pennsylvania, people. Yes. What's his name's in charge of the internet up there, Bitterman, whatever his name is. Yeah, I had to take that shot while I could. I don't, when I go back and read, it just seems it looks like they've all had their planet change on Earth. And what I mean by that, so you look at some of the Egyptian stuff and some of the Sumerian stuff, you do see these human deity guide things that brought certain things to us. But then you see the reptilians, and really for the reptilians were pretty well revered until the time of Christ, and then they weren't. And it was weird because they were pretty much revered around the world. If you go around the world and look, in the Mesoamerican world, the reptilians were loved. They were considered the bringers of life. The human deities were the ones that walked in the dark and were evil. There was a lot of that in the European world, in the Roman world, but the Middle Eastern world, and then for some reason, we had the change of the guard. Was it the Greys that caused it? Was it reptilians that caused it? Was it something else that caused it? I really have no clue, but something made people start thinking differently. Religion's not evil. People are evil. It's like when people tell me guns kill people. No, people kill people. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Never heard a story of a gun taking
No.
itself off the shelf out of the holster.
Martha's in the other room with all 31 rounds, sleeping quite peacefully. She's not even worried about what's.
When the guns start walking out of your closets and your gun lockers and loading themselves and walking down the street and shooting people, then you can panic, people.
It's look, people. It's the same thing with what we were talking about. It's just some things that we're the evil, we're the problem, not these other things. We the people are the problem. We need to work on ourselves and the world. And the bad part was it looked like for a while there we were headed in the right direction as a planet. We were trying to clean up the planet. We were trying to end homelessness and feed the hungry, which is a lot of hungry people on this planet. And for some reason,
the 80s happened and it all went to hell.
No, even that. So I mean, Obama was doing good. Trump was doing pretty good. Yeah. Bush was effing things up a little bit because he had the war going. But the other two presidents, and then we get Uncle Cracker in office, and we got 2 wars going. We got wanting to stop using American money. I mean, what the bleep is going? Is he an alien? I mean, really? No, because aliens cannot be that stupid. No, guys, I don't know what it is with him. He's an alien. I'm gonna blame it. We're gonna have Charis bring the mothership down and remove his ass off the planet and take him away.
Just needs a couple software upgrades.
You know what? That's a good idea. That's a good idea. No, actually, no. We're gonna talk about that in a little while. Charis was out chasing aliens a couple of months back, and in the mud and the slop and the sand and the dust. I don't know if she caught it. She got some really good pictures. I'll tell you that. You'd have to talk her into seeing her pictures, or go subscribe to one of her pages. But they all looked like they had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was different.
I talked to a few people I knew that was out there. I guess maybe they all had their stuff together. Maybe that was the difference. When I was talking to Charis earlier, that seemed to be the difference. A few groups had their stuff together, and
when you go, you bring everything you need. Radical self-reliance is part of the culture, and so is being off-grid. So it didn't matter that we were stuck because we had everything we needed. So we were like sipping champagne in the steam room and eating and chilling, and it was fine. But if people came without having their ducks in a row, then they had a harder time. And also, I think some of it was luck of the draw. I think that, like, the thing about that experience is it's highly transformational. So you're gonna get squished somehow, and that's part of it. Like, that's what changes you, and that's why people go partially. So it was just a different kind of wild card thrown in this year. It's kind of a simulation out there, though. You can kind of feel it. So I think that we just got another strike of the keys sent at us this year to see what would happen.
Well, I was telling Charis earlier they need to bring a fan boat out there if this is going to become a regular rain event. They have been fan boat. They won't have no problems at all going and coming.
Fan boats are cool. They're loud, but they're very cool.
Yes, they are. But they'll go over any damn terrain. What do you mean? You're talking about Burning Man? Burning Man's been going on for a while. Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll go. I was telling earlier about somebody riding one down the street. Burning Man, over the years, I've gotten reports I've actually got abduction reports out of Burning Man, and I've got sighting reports out of Burning, but it's different years and it varies immensely. And there's a lot of people. There's a lot more people there than y'all think there is. And
80,000.
Yes, yeah, it is a city. It's actually bigger than a lot of small cities.
Yeah.
Well, no, they got. I mean, everybody's going out to have fun, but we get. This year I didn't get any. Last year I don't think I got any.
It's a great place. It's such an easy place. I mean, I've talked about that with people I know, and even people who aren't in the contactee or abductee world will all say, "Yeah, I think I've maybe met an alien out there or seen an alien out there," because anything goes, and it's so absurd and crazy that your mental walls are just down. So a lot of weird experimentation can happen, I think, for lots of different beings. There's a lot of spirit activity out there. I definitely think that it would be super easy for things to just fly. There's a really intricate drone show that gets more and more intense every year. And so, who knows? But
it'd be an easy place to mix, that's for sure. Pop on a human suit and go. No, it's not a human suit. It's like it depends what alien we're talking about. Most of them are just used it's an energy they just put out. So wherever they're at, usually for a few square miles, you see them, even though they probably even haven't physically changed, you just see them as that. But there are some that have the ability. Some of them have I guess I don't want to call them outfits, but it's I guess it's an energy field that changes around. Well, they don't physically change either. The only alien I've ever heard that actually physically changes its form is the light beams, but that's because they're plasma or something. They're not skin aliens like we are. But all the rest of them, it's some kind of gimmick
The
or
ones that,
something
he
else.
talks about them all the time.
Mhm.
Those are
Mm,
strange.
you mean if an alien walked up to me? Well, okay. Clarify that question because so
Some
we were
aliens
in.
you can't distinguish them from us.
Well, that's true too. But we were in Pensacola, Florida. Actually, we went in Navarre Beach, Florida, near Eglin Air Force Base. And there was a bunch of us. There was about 15 of us. There was a group of guys and a group of girls. And for some reason, we got this crazy idea, and we packed into 2 vehicles, and we went down there. One F-150 truck and I think a Mustang. We all go down there. So we get down there, and this is just intensely weird. From the time we left the house until the time we got back, the fog bank was so hot, bad. If you got out the vehicle and you looked, you couldn't see more than maybe 3-4 feet. So we're all walking along. So this is right. I said this is in Gulf Breeze, Florida, right next to Eglin Air Force Base. We're walking to these gazebo things. Now you can't see them, but we knew they were there. So we're walking along, minding our own business, walking along. And I hear the girls up front say something. They kept hearing something behind us, but it wasn't us because we were too far back. And so somebody said something about a footprint, and we sped up a little bit. And as we sped up, you could see these prints. They were about these long, and they were appearing in front of us in the sand. There was nothing there, and there was like 3 or 4 rows of them. So obviously, there was 2 or 3 things walking there, but you couldn't see anything. And we were close enough that if there would have been something there, you would have seen it. Or so I got this stupid idea. I wanted to go touch it, and then next thing I know, we're actually at the gazebo. I guess we were just walking at a fast clip, but we'll just let that slide. And we're actually at the gazebo, all sitting around, and there's fog everywhere, but there's no fog inside the gazebo. None.
Wow.
Just none at all. It's not even coming in. Now, this is a big open gazebo. There should be fog in there, but there's none. And I still remember Mike. Mike had come down from, this is right after Katrina, because Mike had just come down from Saskatchewan, Canada, to come work with us, restoring homes. And I still remember he had a cigarette in his mouth. He just stood up, just stood straight up, and the cigarette just flipped out of his mouth. And I was watching it go down as he looked over. Don't know what it is still. We're going to just call it a gray or something. Came down from the pole, because these things were vaulted up like this. Came down from the pole, came straight down the side of the thing, and just kind of took a look at everybody. Now remember, there's 15 of us. There's at least 20 cameras with us. Not anybody even thought about picking up a damn camera, not one person. It just kind of stood there and looked at us and then started walking away. And as it walked away, the sidewalk just lit up in the white. It looked like it was just a white rectangular thing where he just walked in like he was walking downstairs. I have no idea what he was doing, but everybody saw it. It was clear as day. So the question really is, did we really see it, or what happened between the time we seen the footprints and the time he walked away? So more than likely, they were taken at the footprints and put back at the gazebo.
Mm-hmm.
So the real thing is what was going on in between.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, nobody wanted to be hypnotized. No, including myself. I didn't want to be hypnotized. I was like, no. I still to this day, I'm like, nope, that's okay. Don't want to know. It's one of those things I don't want to know about. But there's so much weird stuff that happens in those areas up there. It's just freaky. I should drag Charis down there, let her just beam out.
I'd go. Why not?
It's not a creepy feel, but it's a weird feel. I mean, you can sense it as soon as you get up in that area. You just sense it now. Now it's not as crazy as it used to be. It seems like they've kind of moved. It's hard to explain. But we've been tracking on and off in these different hot spots, and sometimes they feel like they just move. Maybe it's because too many people get to know where they're at, or maybe it's just time to move on to the next collection point. Because the Golf Breeze is definitely a collection point. I mean, we have seen them, not just us. I mean, we have seen with several groups of people being taken. That's where they got the surfing aliens from. We watched all them things sliding up on the beach, taking people. And think about this. So there's 4 of us sitting in these chairs under this tent. And when we first looked like little white lights sitting on the surf, and it was headed towards the beach. I'm like, what the hell is that? Gets to the beach. Now there's people lying all around us on the beach. This is right near a big set of condos. There's like 3 huge condo sets there, probably 8 or 10,000 people in those condos. There's a bunch of people on the beach. I would say it was 50 or 60 people around us. They come in, and when next time you look, there's nothing there but us. And I still remember my stepdaughter goes, "What the?" And I was like, "I don't know what." So was this just to let us see it? Is really the question, because we didn't take it. They didn't take us. We watched it until they brought it back, which was about 5:30 in the morning.
It was a teaser.
It was a big abduction too, and it's not the first time we've run across one. Well, I got pissed one night and said, "I ain't doing this anymore." That's where that song. That's when I was talking about in that song, and because I had enough of it, I was like, "This is enough of this bullshit." And I said, "I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to look anymore. I'm not going to look for anything. I'm just like, the hell with this. I want to go home and eat ice cream." And it seems like, I guess they pay attention sometimes.
Strawberry.
No, man. I want some chocolate, man, with some vanilla. I don't know. Depends what kind of mood I'm in. I'll eat any damn ice cream. As long as it's good, I'm good.
As long as it isn't mint chocolate chip.
Mint I can do. I can't do peppermint, but I can do mint. No, people stop. We ain't getting on ice cream. No, it's not even good. Let's go back. Let's go back to the alien. So tell me about this book again before we go back to talking about what was going out there in the sticks. I know you said second book.
Oh, that's my book. Oh yeah, the Starseed trilogy. So
We don't want to talk about his, that's for sure. I'm sorry, good.
So they're basically a documentation of my contact experience. I didn't realize that I was a contactee until I had a really intense experience under a big ship, and then everything started coming back. And I confirmed with my parents about my childhood memories, and they were like, yes, that all that stuff happened. But the thing about being a contactee, and also just paranormal stuff in general, is that a lot of times people just don't want to talk about it. It makes them uncomfortable. And when I was writing the first Starseed book, I had this unofficial poll going on, and I would just ask everyone I met, "Hey, have you ever seen a UFO?" And there were 3 responses I would get. And I don't know, I probably asked this to a few hundred people. It wasn't all that many, but it was a good chunk. And the absolute least common of the 3, this was only a very small percentage of people, would say, "Nope, never seen it." And you could just tell, not interested. Absolutely not. And I'd say, okay, like, again, I don't like to fight. I don't need to convince anyone of anything. I'm good. Move on. Slightly more common, but still a pretty small percentage, were people who would say, "Yes, oh my gosh." And they would often get the wild eyes, and they would tell you some experience they had, and they were so glad that someone was asking them about it so they could talk about it. So that happened a few times. Those are the people you're likely to find more at the conferences and stuff. And then the overwhelming majority of responses was people would go, "No, I don't think so." You could see them kind of analyzing the document, right, in their brain. "I don't think so." I'd say, okay, we'd move on. And then anywhere from a minute or 2 to a half hour or so later, they would go, "Wait." And whatever we were talking about would stop. And then they would say some really crazy, intense UFO story. And often they would be able to corroborate it with somebody else. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, such and such was there, weren't you?" And he would go, "Oh yeah, I was there that day at the high school when it was 4th of July and there was a big triangular craft hanging out over the bleachers. Everybody was there." So common. But as you can see, it goes in the shit I don't understand drawer. So people just put it in there and don't ever talk about it unless it comes up and takes them a while to access it. So it happens more commonly than we think. But again, it's like a lot of intuitive stuff or multidimensional stuff. If you don't have any use for it, you're not going to keep it top of mind. So unless you have some kind of calling to pay attention to it or activation from it, that activates like your curiosity, it's not going to be something that you bring up. And also people don't want to look crazy usually. I mean, that ship has sailed with us, but basically a lot of people are not going to say anything because they don't want to get ostracized by their friends or get fired from their job or whatever it may be.
Oh, that's true. That you talk about it too much, people will be like, "Wait, what?" It's like, who? What aliens did you see? What, really? Aliens aren't real people.
Yeah.
I don't believe in aliens. No, I can honestly sit here and say I don't believe in aliens. I don't really. What do you mean?
I
No,
can
I
say
don't
that
believe
too.
in them. I don't believe, because there's a difference between believing and knowing people. That's just as simple as it gets. No. Okay. What do you mean? It wouldn't matter if I'd seen one or not at this point. I have seen enough evidence to know that they're real, that there's something visiting our planet. I've seen enough evidence close up to know that they're real and visiting our planet, not including, I don't know, I have to ask Marky, but last time I checked, he said we had over 90,000. I think he said 99,000 cases locked away now. Well, that's over 40 years, but it's just a lot of cases. And, but that's, you see, you got to remember, that's not all of them. That's the ones that we consider that are cases that are useful or that we consider real. Well, no, not all the 99,000 we consider real. We consider some of them to be useful for other reasons, but probably at least 80,000 we would consider to be real cases. And no, because they meet the criteria that we have set forward for real cases. Well, only ever half of it's ever been made public. That's why you hear me talk. Sometimes I'll just stop and so I can't talk about that because I've talked. Because I get. That's why I have directors that work with me, just in case. So I'll not talk about. I'd tell y'all all the abduction criteria was up to me. I really would. I remember when DeAndre was still alive. She called me one night. She goes, "I was listening to that bleeping show, bleeping Joe." She said, "I'm going to do my job." He gave out entirely too information, and she tore my ass up, man. God rest her soul. She did too. She said, "I'm your national director. I'm the one you said if something's going awry, you call. I'm calling." And she did. She tore me up. I was like, "But D, people need to know. That's the only way we're going to find out." She said, "They don't need to know all of that." I was talking about all kind of stuff too. So it's like,
well, they eventually need to know all of the information. They do need to know. We all need to know the full information. And honestly, some of the information, once we get it all out, it's going to anger probably 90% of the U.S. citizenship, maybe even the 90% of the planet. Well, there's some pretty heinous stuff that's been going on with this thing since before the World Wars.
So let's see. What's that, Lazarus? So Lazarus is writing in. He just is directed at all of us, but he said, "I'm going to ask Charis first." He said, "Where do you think?" He said, actually, what he said was, if the world was to get into a bad war, do you think the extraterrestrials would intervene or step in?
I think it depends on if we were using nuclear energy or not. That's when they came forward in the World Wars. Once we start using nuclear, they're like, hey, you need to calm down. But if we're just little kids hitting each other on the playground, they're like, do it. That's what I think. What about you?
What do you think, Jay? Jay?
I agree. I think maybe at the very least, maybe some very serious chemical and or other non-nuclear type devices that are, very devastating, like neutron bombs that will kill a whole city, and some biologicals and whatnots. But barring that, if we're just slinging bullets, they're gonna film it just like they did all the dinosaurs. So
yeah, I look at it differently.
See it later
because
on.
From above. I look at it like this: if we wipe ourselves out, they get a free planet. There's a cosmos full of aliens
they
out there. Well, think of it this way: there's a cosmos full of aliens, and some of them may have lost their planets in disasters or stars going up, and they're thinking, well, here's a perfectly good one. If these stupid humans don't want it, we'll just let them wipe themselves out, and then we'll clean up the planet and give it to somebody else. It always worries them a little bit. What was that, baby? Good.
Isn't that how we got here to begin with?
That is how we got here.
They've lost their leg.
That was good, Charles. That was good. Oh, so that's not even a good thing. That she hit it on the neck. That's how we got here.
And for an example of some of the aliens, and here's a good example for some of the aliens who've lost their planets, and maybe it's due to their own overzealousness or overmining, whatever you want to call it. But the Zeta Reticulans allegedly had control of like 3 to 5 planets in their 2 solar systems. It's actually a trinary system, but they lived only on 2 of the planets, or 2 of the stars, and a few planets in those 2 stars. But they allegedly lost their planets thousands of years ago, and they've been fighting to get planets ever since. And that doesn't, make me think there are a whole lot of friendly little fluffy guys,
Yeah, so many different kinds. And isn't it the Mintakans that's planet was gone? I mean, I know I've heard of planets also going just because they were at the end of their life cycle. Like the
Yeah, that
planet
happens
just
too.
got old and died, and then the things
Yeah,
were
but
smart.
I think the Zeta Reticulans, their planets they weren't killed off by natural, the end of its planet's natural
Mhm.
life. It's due to them being over, just using all the resources, and I guess being irresponsible with it. Like they tell us to be responsible with our planet, make it better, don't do what you're doing.
Yeah, but
Yet I was
think
watching
about
the other
that,
night, and I
Joe.
can't remember the gentleman's name. Huh?
Well, I was just saying, think about that. They want us to behave and take care of things, but I mean, why do they tell us about the asteroid belt? I mean, there's enough minerals in it. We don't even have to fight about minerals anymore on this planet. I mean, come on, there's one asteroid worth more than
Yeah.
everything on this planet
We
combined,
don't have
including
to
the
fight
planet.
about anything on this
Well,
planet.
you got a
We
good
have
valid
enough
point
of
there.
everything.
You got a valid point. I've talked about this
We
a
might have to fight to
long
get it
time.
back from their clutches, but the fact is that they have needs, they have resources they need as well, and they probably are already mining our asteroid belt. So
They could be. They
the
could be.
best thing that we can do is try to either be friends with the good ones and try to get our planet back, or they're going to come get us eventually. One of the sides is going to win, and if it's the bad guys, that's not good for us.
Well, I don't think we got to worry about them fighting too much more. I just think it's just whatever the rules are for what's considered ours. So what do we own in this solar system? Is the whole solar system ours because this is where our planet is,
Yeah.
and we're the only intelligent life, or is it not? Does it belong to the cosmos? Is our planet inside of the galactic communities where the actual community is? Is it there? I mean, we're way out on Spiral Arm. We might be out here on our own, and that's why the aliens come in. And then again,
Yeah,
it simply could be because we're not from the Milky Way, we're from Sagittarius, and that's why they're here. So wait, let's check these weirdos out from a different galaxy. Oh my God, let's go see aliens from a different galaxy. We're probably like a freaking museum. Oh no, like a zoo. Oh, I
Yeah, I
shouldn't
think
even
we're
say
like a petri dish, an incubator. I mean, we're still the human and the Earth project is still definitely underway. Like,
yes.
you have to take the long view. And I think it's interesting because I don't think that we're necessarily off track all that much. I think that if you're looking at this in hundreds of thousands of years, I don't know. I don't think it's all so cut and dry. And however much we can have in our human brain, I think that the game is much bigger than that and much longer than that. So I don't necessarily think that taking out the dinosaurs was off the track. That might have been.
No, I think it was planned.
And who knows if it was an asteroid or something else that just hit the planet. Yeah.
Well, recently they've been throwing some dirt on the asteroid theory.
Yeah,
so
we were talking about that a
that
few shows back.
Yeah, they're kind of.
Yeah,
they're
I
kind
threw
of
out the idea. What if maybe that asteroid, when it did fall, it had biology on it that caused a virus or some kind of global pandemic after the explosion. Years and months later.
Well, now they're saying it wasn't big enough to kill all the stuff in the sea. It was big enough to kill everything on land, mostly, unless they found habitats. But they don't think it was big enough to kill everything in the sea. So they're a little confused. There should be more prehistoric sea animals, and there's not. So they're kind of a little confused by that. And a couple of things they're confused. But it's like we all originally came from Africa. Now they don't know where the hell we came from. I'm like, just pick a spot, people. I said the world's not going to get all angry.
Theory.
Yeah, well, people want to get angry when you change stuff. Well, sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we make boo-boos. And I have no problem with everyone coming from Africa. The only problem I've ever had that there was only two parents. I said, genetically, that doesn't work. We know, thanks to gene research that we all know about these days, takes a minimum of 3,600 to create a population this size, a healthy population. What I mean by that, Johnny, I've seen a smart-ass comment, because if the population is too small, it inbreeds. And there may be a lot of brilliant people, but there may also be a lot of retarded people, a lot of handicapped people, a lot of problems that you don't want in your society. So the bigger the expanse, the less likely you're going to have those problems, the healthier your population is. Also, you never know which one of us is going to invent a cure for cancer or who's going to be the next Elon Musk. Do y'all realize, ladies and gentlemen, that Elon has landed more rockets than all the entire space programs put together in the entire existence of space programs? Jesus, come on. He is making,
including probably all of science fiction too, I would think.
Yeah, he is. not only is he embarrassing the Russians and Chinese, the Indians, but he's even embarrassing us. I mean, he is just. He had his 200th landing the other day,
or at least
200.
NASA.
So the Chinese said the other day that because he was landing at 200, said there'll probably be 10 years before they can land one. Jesus, but then he'll be living on Mars, man. He worries me though. He does. When I talk about him, a lot of times I think about that stupid Moonraker TV show, the James Bond one, where the guy,
Movie.
Drax, yeah,
James Bond movie.
he wants the perfect race. I'm always worried Elon might go to Mars and build something around Mars. Say, don't come here, stupid humans, or else he might want all black-haired people though, instead of blonde-haired people.
There's only one way to find out. Yeah.
There's
only one way to find out if Elon is going to be Drax. If he's got that guy with the metal teeth as a bodyguard.
Well, Jaws. I mean, I really, it's
yeah.
So, Cindy, to answer your question, and anybody so after the first 5 years of the colony of Mars, anybody will be able to go. And it's going to be a 2-year wait list to get back. So originally it was going to be a one-way ticket. Now it's not. So his idea is to start having 10 launches at a time. And then it's constantly going back and forth to Mars all the time. So if you're on Mars and you want to come home, you can. If you're here and you want to go, you can. And remember, you got to have the guy who's going to fix the toilet. You're going to have the guy who's going to fix the electrical. These high-dollar scientists ain't going to be doing all of that. You got to have the people who are going to cook for you every day.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the people who's going to make sure you're spiritually enlightened. All of these people will have to be there.
How long are they saying the trip will be from one place to
another? Last I heard was 6 months, but Elon said before they go,
a couple of weeks.
Yeah, now he's saying it's going to probably be 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And so they're changing it. They got some new rocket engines coming out, some other stuff coming out. So the more they look at this, the faster we get there. And they want to do it soon because we got a good couple of epigees coming up to connect with Mars. So that they really want to get going. And he wants to live there. He wants to take him and some of his kids. He wants to have another 10 kids. That'll give him a total of 20 kids. He wants to build an empire on Mars. I know what he's doing. Wow. I mean, he's going to have his own empire. He's going to be the next whoever, man. Alexander the Great. Well, no, he ended badly, so we won't use him. Is there any of these people that didn't end badly? Let's think about it.
Not a good example.
Well, let's try. So you'll be able to go. You'll be plenty young enough to go. There'll be lots of openings for people who just want to go, and there'll be lots of things to do. Like I said, they're going to need something for everybody, And I would imagine if you're going to be somebody who's going to go live off world, your spirituality connected with the universe is probably going to be higher than the average person. Maybe not. I could be wrong. I say we send Charis for sure. Yeah.
I'd go temporarily. I do love Earth.
I would love
to
go.
So hard.
We need somebody who can keep an eye on Elon. we just need you to keep an eye on Elon for a while. Just keep an eye on his ass. No, people. Elon.
Eyes.
Well, he's got all that neuro stuff now. He's going to hook into your brain. Oh, that's a question, Charis. Would you let him put something in your brain?
No, I don't think I would get any implants this lifetime. I don't think so. It freaks me out.
Yes, it's. Well, so they what they're trying to do over Mars is everything will be connected. So when you're walking around doing everything's working off that chip. You walk into your house, the lights come on. Just when you're just thinking about it, you don't have to do anything else. I do like the idea that you don't need stairs on Mars. You can jump from level to level to level. That's kind of nice. That space that you can use for something else. No, we didn't. We'll have her back to talk about experiences. We weren't really talking about experiences tonight. We were just kind of chit-chatting about different things and why the government, even with this big movement, still can't seem to get to the truth. Yeah,
because then they wouldn't sell more episodes. The whole point is to get people to keep tuning in. So they just told you everything.
I wonder. This is a good question right here. What do you think, Chad? Do you think that let's say the people holding this, the everyday American people who are holding this court Congress, do you think if they were given the truth that they would know what to do with it?
Know what to do with it? I mean, I don't know. Which agenda are they working under? Like, I don't think there is much to do with it. And that's the interesting thing, like you were saying earlier, Joe, with being regressed. And when I was the state rep for ICAR back in the day, and people would say, hey, I want to get regressed, but I'm scared. And I'd be like, well, I mean, you're okay. That next morning you got up and had your coffee and your Wheaties, like you survived it. Like there's no reason to be afraid of just knowing what happened. And so again, does it really matter if people know or not? Because this is such a long game. Like we're talking generations and generations and generations.
Generations. Yes, it is.
So I think if people want to know, then they should know. But it's like the whole contactee thing. It's way more common because most people just don't care. Most people are just like, yeah, I don't want to know if ETs have been abducting me and my family for the last 12 generations. No, like I just want to go to work and come home and eat dinner and chill, you know? So I think it would probably still be like that.
Yeah, and we can all hope too. What do you mean, Jolene? Jolene? What do you like, Jolene? Like in the song, Jolene? I mean, is that your real name? Because y'all go on my messenger and y'all don't always use your real name. Y'all use some bullshit name. I've seen y'all make Facebook accounts just so you can have some stupid name. Don't even try to pull that crap with me. So anyway, what's your question? What should you do if you think you've been abducted? Now, all right. What do you mean? Do you think you've been abducted? Do you think you've been contacted? If you're looking for help, anybody you see here, you can talk to. Yvonne Smith. So, okay, there's a few good people out there. You can write to me at icar@cox.net and I'll give you some people. But where are you? You're on the East Coast? Well, just write to Charis. She's on the East Coast. Well, sometimes she's in the West Coast, so you got to watch her. She likes to move around. Like she don't like to hold still much. she's like well, you know what? Most contactees don't like to sit still. It's a thing. Maybe it's because they know they're coming for them. Maybe it's just a thing from being a contactee. Maybe it's just part of life. But no, antsy is not a good word. Most of the contactees I know aren't antsy. But they do like to move around a lot. They like to go.
And it's just the way the cookie crumbles. Like things call you in different spots, and so you go if you can. And then, yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily plan on being nomadic for so long. It just kind of, oh, now I need to go over here, and I need to go over there for a job or to visit or, you know, whatever it may be. So it ends up being that way.
Well, it's good to move around, people. Well, I travel a lot. I haven't traveled as much this year as I usually do, but I still travel a lot. Well, let's see, where was it this year? DC, New York, LA, and then local places. No, I haven't been driving as much as I usually do. Usually I get out and about. But last year we were in Utah for FanX, and then we were in Atlanta for Dragon Con, and then I was in Los Angeles for Writers of the Future. DC and New York are for documentaries they're doing on me. Oh, you want to come up here and say hi to Charis? Come tell Charis hi.
Oh,
go say hi, Charis. Say I love you, Charis. What you doing?
Yeah, buddy.
So cute.
Say I'm just a baby, huh?
Here's Admiral. I mean, you might not be able to see him. It's Admiral.
Oh, he's lurking in the shadows.
German
We can see him.
Yeah, what you doing? What you doing? Cat food. What
well, I got the main light down, and he's all black mostly, so he doesn't photo well.
But she weirds people out when she's not got clothes on. She'll be laying up on my shoulder sleeping. People don't notice it when I'm on air, and all of a sudden she'll cut her eye. You just see the white eye. They're like, "What is that? Is that?" Tell them, what is that? And she's the alien hunter. In case you don't know, she hunts aliens. Yes, she does. She thinks she's an alien. She puts her hoodie on and she goes after the little asses. Yeah, she got a hoodie on this outfit. Oh, but she got to get out because I see her sister just came in. Oh no! If she thinks there's anything in my house, it doesn't alien or not. It doesn't matter what the hell it is. Her and her sister will bark you. They'll leave just so they'll shut up. Yeah, even a burglar coming in, they would leave just to make him shut up. Oh no, they're quiet. Like when they're on the radio, they know when I'm on the radio. Yeah, no, she comes in. Usually she comes in halfway through the show. She's a little late tonight, but usually she likes to come in halfway in the show, come give Daddy a lick in the nose or something, and tell everybody hi. She wants to be famous. Say my name is Lola and I want to be famous, huh? Say I want to be famous. But anyway, you gotta get down, sweetheart. Come on, hop down. Go see your sister. Go see your sister. There you go. Go love one.
She does not want to get down.
Oh no, she'll go. She was going to sleep. She was ready to hang out. Kirk, we ain't got that much time, but what?
I do have a thought on that question about the abduction. If you think you've been abducted, record everything. If there are any marks on your body, take pictures of them. whatever you possibly can remember, write it down or voice note it or video it as soon as you remember, because things will get blurrier over time.
Yes, they
So,
will.
and you want to make sure you have, if there's anything physical, if there's any sign left that's in the physical realm, photograph it so that you can store this and check back over time.
Yeah, she's right. And you should write down any memories immediately, because it's not just that they'll fade; they'll get contaminated a lot of times, especially if you go around listening
get
to
covered by 'em.
radio shows or something like that. You know, I remember a lady who was listening to me talk about another lady who'd been abducted in Australia. And a couple of weeks later, her and I were talking, and she got to talking. I said, "You're overlaying one over the other." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Here, I've got your abduction in front of me." And I started reading it back to her. She's like, "Oh shit!" And I said,
Wow.
"I said you got to pay attention. You'll get contaminated without realizing it." I said, you know, when your things go a long time, and then when you make them realize, like Mr. Abductee there, Mrs. Abductee there, next time you feel something weird going on, ask to remember. Now, I'm going to tell you now, they're not going to give you 100%. You get up to Charis' range, they might give you 100%. But and even then, there's still, even her who's been doing this a long time, they're going to give her 100%. But some things they're just going to say no. She can be the same way we are, getting 5% or this, that, or the other thing. But it's when they know, it's different. But
And you got to learn how to chill out your nervous system, like learn how to regulate your nervous system. Because when you feel them start to come around and you feel yourself get all, like your nervous system get all freaked out, it means you're going to be less likely to remember. And if you super freak out, they'll just tranquilize you and you won't remember anything.
You won't remember.
So be cool, like be chill.
Well, it's true, because people just get, well, Mark, to be honest with you, you're a big boy. I know how big you were, like what, 6'2", 6'3", about 300 pounds. The thing of it is even a gray, even a little 3-foot gray, you get angry with him, he's gonna toss you around like you're a freaking pancake.
Or just touch you and you freeze and you can't move.
Yeah. I mean, they're way stronger than they look like. They got weaponry and they have so much mental power that so much of what they do, people think they're using equipment, but a lot of times they're just simply using thought, and they just lock you in place. You're like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the grays are weird. When I first got in this field, I thought the grays worked for the reptilians and the humans, and that they were doing this work for the reptilians and humans, and the humans and reptilians were doing most of the abductions. After a little research, I realized way back in the day that the reptilians and humans were doing the majority of abductions, but there was no grays. When the grays got here, it seemed like they started taking over about 60%, maybe 50, about 60% of the abductions. And the other ones were left for the reptilians and humans, which I thought was kind of strange. Well, in a couple of abduction cases, I've had people tell me when the gray walks into the room and there's a reptilian human, we're talking about a 3-foot gray, not even a big gray, because grays get bigger than that. A lot of times that the reptilian or the human will look away or look down. So that's a sign of respect and fear, which suggests that this little gray could take out this big 700-pound reptilian who's almost 8.5 foot tall, like he's nothing. And remember, humans aren't little either. I mean, see, that's the difference. The human aliens have a longer head than we do. It's not wider, it's longer. It's like comes back here. And when you're looking at them face on, you can't tell. But they are bigger than we are. They're probably in the they're probably in the 8-foot range, 7 to 8 foot range, easily 400 or 500 pounds. But the problem is you hear 400 or 500 pounds, you think, oh, fat. But no, they're cut. It's the weight for their body. I mean, because of their height. And more than likely, where they come from is a different environment, different type of gravity than what we have here. I'm pretty sure.
Density of atmosphere and gravity and such.
I'm pretty sure all three races come from a heavier world gravity than we do. Mainly because the way they just toss stuff around on a planet, unless it's mentally or equipmentally assist. It's hard to tell. We don't get that kind of information always. But what do you mean? Why would they want to take?
It could be a combination of any of those three things.
What do you mean? Why do they want to take Charis? No. Oh, she is good looking, but that has nothing to do with why they're taking her. So they started taking her pre-birth when she was just a little ugly thing in her mama's womb. And then after she was born, they checked on her a few times. And as things went on, they checked on her. And she's a baby. She was probably introduced. And kids look at this differently than adults do. If you catch up kids when they're young and talk to
Yeah.
them, they'll express them as friends, or my bug-eyed friends, or my
Mhm.
reptilian friends. They don't
Mhm.
have fear of them.
Yeah.
Fear doesn't come until puberty, and that's when they're probably the nasty experience come. But those only last 6 to 8 years. And that, when I say that, it's not like it's every day 6 to 8 years, but in that excuse me, in that span, there may be some things that are unpleasurable, and it's mainly because of what they're doing. But by saying that, and don't take this wrong, humans, we do it every day. We tag animals every day, and not only we're not even as nice as the Greys. We get in helicopter, running a bear down. Oh, let me see if I can hit me in the ass. Oh, look, I got. I mean, come on. I mean, as far as I know, the Greys aren't doing that.
Mhm. What I can recall when I've been regressed, and then when I started to remember.
There are some that do.
Go ahead.
What Joe was saying about shooting the bears, and I forget the gentleman's name. I was just watching his videos the other day, and he's talking about the tall whites, and I'm not sure if he's talking about Arcturians or maybe Pleiadians. He doesn't say specifically, but they were amazed with us because he interacted with them on what he called Area 53 in Nevada.
Yeah, Charles.
He said that they said to him that they were amazed that we play with our animals. We do things with our animals. We use them for work. We use them for pets. We use them for food. And he said that most of the higher races like themselves, when they got to a certain level, they killed off all the animals. Yet they're also telling us to, save our planet and do better things and preserve things. It's kind of strange. I don't understand why a higher intelligent creature would destroy all the lesser intelligent creatures on their planet. It makes no sense to me, but this guy seems legit, and he seems to really believe what they told him.
Okay.
So that's
Well,
kind of
I mean,
strange too.
Well, maybe it was like Corazon. They might be like that. I would imagine Corazon had killed at one time, had killed all the animals because it was just one planet full of it. Was just a, but when I heard about the council city, it's like 4 or 5 times the size of our world. Well, actually, it's probably closer to the size of Jupiter, and it's a water world basically with a big, basic. Oh, look at this! We got up here. Oh, look at this!
Right.
Oh, we all got black animals. That's cool. Look at that big
I've
kitty
got
cat.
2 black kitty cats.
Yeah, you gotta stay away from my dog. You eat my dog.
2 of them.
Mhm.
She's pretty. Looks big too.
Yeah, he's big.
Oh, he's a big boy.
15 pounds. We went to the vet today.
18 pounds.
13. Yeah, the other. I have another one. She's bigger.
Yeah.
Big boy. What you doing, big boy? He said, "Yeah, Mama love me, Mom. I love you too, Mama." Look at. He's like, "Yeah, I love Mama." He loves his Mama. I don't know, Jenny. It's all kind of scary. It's all kind of exciting. It's all kind of exhilarating. It's all kind of scary. It's not. Well, for us, and most. Excuse me. For us and most people over 28, it's a different thing. There's no more of the stupid experiments.
Mm-hmm.
The breeding experiments are done with, if that's what you're involved with. All of that's gone now. Now you're either part of the program and want to work with the program, or you're probably just retired and they wait for you to have children, and then they pick up your children. Well, they don't abduct everybody for life. They take you pre-birth, and a lot of people will be
even
abducted
if you're
all
not
their
having,
life.
they will still keep an eye on you.
Yeah. Well, in case they have kids or something like that, or if an ability just develops. Well, they're waiting for the next, I guess, the next evolution of man is what they're waiting for. The RH negative and the Iconol was the last
We talked about
revolution.
this a couple shows ago, Joe.
So I'm saying that was the last revolution for us. Now this is another one coming. What do you mean? Well, no, RH negative people are different than RH positive people. They are. They have different types of personalities and stuff. What do you mean? Are they smarter, better, or brighter? No, that's a wives' tale. That is true. The majority of our Minson members are RH negative, but that's just because they went and took the test. Not everybody's taking the test. It's a pain in the ass test. I took it twice in school. Yes, and it's a pain in the ass test. Well, I took it because when I took the ASVAB for the Navy, one I was being given. Yeah, I did pretty good on it. 160 overall. I think it was 169. But let me explain to you about that. People tell me all the time about these big IQs. Big IQ don't mean squat. If you use it, it does. But if you don't use it, it don't mean squat. It's no better than any other IQ if you're not putting it to use. And
Intelligence
you still
quotient
have to.
isn't a measure of how smart you are. It's a measure. Well, the actual quotient for the one I'm on is I'm on 186, but it's not a question of how smart you are with the number. It's a question of how well you use the smarts you got. And when I was tested at 186, I was in the 6th grade. I was 8 years old, and they said that I had working knowledge of a graduating high school senior. So we're talking an 8-year-old kid that has knowledge of a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid who's just about to graduate high school. That's how that works. It doesn't mean I've got the answers to the universe. It just means I use my information better than most.
Oh, Dean, on that question. So contactees, a lot of times, education will be above their grade level. So let's say your first year college or high school grad, your level may be a third higher, even half, maybe almost double. And to put this in perspective, I had never read a universe in it. What the hell's going on there? What the hell just happened?
Oh, Joe's gone.
Uh-oh.
He'll come back.
I don't know what happened. It's I guess my camera went wackadoodle. Well, people, I guess we'll have to track it down in a minute. Something must have come unplugged or something. But
it's a starry background we have.
Well, we even lost the background. What's going on here? We had a glitch.
Yeah. I mean,
we had a show that yesterday of glitch. Ooh, StreamYard, you can't be glitching.
You must have pissed off some alien group up there. They've kiboshed your computer there.
Yeah, like abort.
Yeah. So y'all better stay away from my computer.
Send the bullet, zap his computer feed.
It's Tony. Well, you could have came to the other chat room for that question, Tony. Yeah, you could have came to the Facebook chat room. We'd all seen it. Do I love aliens? Do we love aliens? Yeah, we all love aliens.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
As much as we love people, some of them are great and some of them are not great.
She's nicer than I am. You people can, you know what?
Well, I can't say that I've met any, but I would hope that some of them are nice.
Oh no, John. Charis is way nicer than I am. Yes, she's a sweetheart compared to me. She's just a sweetheart anyway. But oh no, I don't know, because I'm not the kind of person. You mess with me, you're gonna trust me. You're not gonna like it. Well, I got a lot of friends I like to defend. I like to make sure everybody around me is safe. What do you mean spoil people? I spoil when I got the money. I'll spoil anybody. Actually, It depends. It takes a lot of money to live these days. Actually, before COVID, we were doing really good with business was booming. COVID kind of put a damper on it, and it was starting to come back. And then Cracker Joe got in office, and now none of my customers want to spend any money because they're scared that the plant is going to blow up. No, I'm serious. I mean, they're nervous about the economy, really. Yeah. And well, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what happens. We've got less than a year now to the next election, and I'm not making any predictions. I will make a prediction that it's 50-50 that out of the two presidents we had, either one of them could be running the White House from prison. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. How is a dignitary going to get invited to prison? Well, come on, we got a pool now in the prison, so y'all can come out and hang out by the pool. Y'all think I'm kidding? I'm serious. No, we got to go in a minute. All right, 2 more questions and we're out of here. Well, because the Outer Realm is on right now. Michelle's going to come over here and hurt somebody. I'm going to blame it on Jay. I'm just going to say it's Jay did it. Jay caused the problem. Charis and I are all sweet and innocent over here, minding our own business. So, yes, we'll start with Charis and we'll work our way around. So, what's his question? Why do we think the aliens are here? Okay, pick an alien. Okay, no, because the aliens here could take 2 shows, maybe 3, just to get it out. Pick an alien. What alien? Why are the reptilians here? Charis, what do you think? Why are the reptilians here?
Well, I mean, they've always been here.
It
didn't just start. Just because sometimes when people think that it just started because they just found out about it, but no, it's always been there. Look at all the ancient texts. look at the Dogons, like you were talking about earlier, Joe. They're here. It's my understanding that Earth is part of a project to create something important that has to do with consciousness and matter. And that's why we're seeded by so many different star races, both on purpose and accidentally. And so I believe that Earth is a unique thing. And that's why we're so interesting to so many different races. I don't think so many different races are always checking in on every planet with sentient life on it. But something about Earth specifically and something about humans specifically are rare. And there's a point of evolution that we're pointing toward. And it's like the ups and downs and the crazy and the drama between here and there. And so while the reptilians are here, I think there's some of them that harvest in a negative way and that like to cause drama and do bad stuff. And I also think that some of them are invested in the evolution of humanity so we can drop that divine spark down into matter, because that's part of what we're doing here. So again, it depends on which race you're talking about. There are so many, and even inside the races, there are different agendas. That's me. How about y'all?
What's up, Uncle Jay?
Well, I think the reptilians are here for a couple of reasons. One is I think it's a bifurcated race, and bifurcated means split in two. Similar to what you see in Star Trek with the Vulcans and the Romulans, where they're cousins really now, since they've been so far apart for so many thousands of years. So my speculation is that the dinosaurs, or maybe a era or epoch of dinosaurs before they were destroyed, got into outer space, and that's what those Draco reptilians are. They're coming back to Earth, and they're still some of their cousins are still on the planet, living allegedly underground. I have no proof on that. So I think that's part of it. And the other reason they're coming here is their planet's resources are dwindling, and they're coming here for food. And I think part of their food might be us, which is why some of us are abducted and don't come back. That's not a good thing. And I agree with with Charis on the planet thing. There's something special about our planet, whether it's the location. Our solar system is unique in this galaxy because we're kind of between spiral arms. Like there's a bunch of solar systems here, and there's a bunch of solar systems here. But we're right in the middle between solar arms. We're literally out in the countryside. We're by ourselves. So our solar system hasn't been overly mined or the resources taxed to any degree. So that's probably the other main reason. But there's also probably a strategic reason. And if you look throughout our planet, there are at least 3 or 4 highly still radioactive. We can walk through them now, but they're still highly radioactive areas. There's one on Saudi Peninsula. There's Göbekli Tepe is overly radioactive. There's what's the other one? I think it's also in Turkey. There's several places that exhibit nuclear explosions, and not the kind like a uranium deposit might explode, but a man-made nuclear explosion. And we have verified evidence of 2 huge explosions on Mars that are probably the ones that destroyed the atmosphere and melted or steamed off most of the water. So there's some sort of war going on, and we're part of that. We're in the middle of it. We may actually have some of our abductees being part of that war. They may be cannon fodder. So there's quite a few reasons. And again, depending on the race, it could be war, it could be resources, it could be simply they're scientifically interested in our species and our evolution.
That's pretty good. That's what was that, Chris? No. Well, no, because like the war thing, I think the war's been over for a while, but it's I think that's what the reptilians, not the reptilians, I think that's what the light beings put it into. That's what the grays were created for, to end the war. Because it wasn't just a war between the reptilians and humans, it was a cosmos. It was raging through our entire galaxy.
It had been for thousands, even tens of thousands.
Yeah, it had been for a long. All of a sudden, that's what they said. They said it had been raging forever, and then the light beings just showed up one day from a different galaxy. They found the grays on this other side of our galaxy, and this started building them into the race that was going to become the galactic. And ever since, and that's what they've been doing. They just went out there and put it into the war. I guess they would have been like the Asgard in some ways, but they put a stop to it. It's also why they want Earth, because the reptilians were here. Half the reptilians, or at least a third of reptilians, never left. And the problem was when they came out of hibernation and found the humans, they were a little bit pissed. But that's not actually what the Nemos woke the reptilians, because Nemos are also reptilians. They landed with the Dogon and actually woke up the other ones that were here, at least part of the ones that were here. And that's when they started screwing around with the Sumerian humans. the ones that were created by the human hands. That's when they started screwing around with them. But if I remember right, it's either 11. There's 11 species of reptilian. They all have something different. They all live on different worlds. Dogon, and I always thought Dogon was a home world. I found out recently it is not the home world, that it's one of the colonies. I think altogether they have more than 100 colonies. And so they've been around a long time. I think 600 or 700 million years they've been blowing around through the gods. Them and the humans have been for a long time. The actual Greys are actually older than they are. But that's what the Greys tell you there. When you talk to contactees and you ask specific questions and you have them ask the Greys, that's what the Greys say they are. That's what they are scared of they're scared of the Greys. That proves something in itself, that these big beings are scared of these little gray things. But there are things like I've heard about the reptilians, like they have these big cities with these big, huge crystal libraries, and it's just a big dome. And inside the dome, there's little pedestals with these crystal balls on them. You just touch it, and whatever you think about comes to the ball, and then is put into your head. So they sound like in a lot of ways are a very sophisticated society. But in the same aspect, they seem to be not as sophisticated as they should be, because the males or the females think they can take any human. Well, not just that, the alpha male, alpha female think they can take anybody inside their tribe and do anything they want with them. They also feel like that about any humans that are related to them. That's why they don't eat us, because most of us are related to some family line now. You can't eat your family line. It's even the reptilians think that's a no. But that no telling when that happened. That took a while before they started. What do you mean? Well, would you want to eat a human? I mean, we're high in cholesterol, kind of nasty, full of pollution. No telling what kind of diseases we have. I mean, really. No, they didn't eat the cows. We're not. Cattle mutilation is not. No, it's not. It's
not about food.
It's not about food. It's not about aliens. No, it's about the Uncle Sam. I know y'all get mad at me when I talk about it, but I proved it. We even talked to somebody at the government who admitted to it. Yes, they were doing it to monitor. They still are doing it to monitor radiation in those areas. The pieces the cows are taking are only the places where radiation would accumulate quickly. And
like in the Midwest,
yeah, and everywhere these ranches are inside of drop zones for nuclear bombs. And the kicker was that the cows were insured. Let's be honest. Do you really think the Gray or the reptilian human is going to give a good blank if the cow's insured? No, they're not going to care. They're not going to care. And I don't think they would have left it there. I think they would have just took it. Only somebody who wanted, because they couldn't go around killing. The government couldn't go around killing a bunch of cows and stuff and taking them because no claim. But with the body, there's a claim. It's just too coincidental, people. And I remember when I talked to the sheriff in somewhere in Arizona, but he's like, "Damn, I never thought about that, but I guess you're right." And so even after that, it kind of changed. But Linda Moulton still swears the aliens are taking it because those parts are delicacies. Well, why don't you just take some cows home and breed them some bitches and eat as many delicacies as you want?
Yeah. Or better yet, they probably have a machine in their wall that they can go up to and go, tea, hot, extra sugar, and boom, there it is. Or, give me a cow burger, extra hot, boom.
All right, guys, I got one more question and we got to get out of here. What was it? I seen it go by, but somebody's going to have to next one that comes up. Okay, wait. No, it's too complicated to get into, but God and ET. So before you go there, you can have God and you can have extraterrestrials. Matter of fact, if you go read the Bible, New and Old Testament, you'll find out that they make allotments for that, other beings in the cosmos.
Yeah, and that depends on how you define God. But the way that I see it is God is not human. I don't think God has cuticles or eyelashes. And so I feel like saying that the whole fight between God and science, it's like if we picked up a pen and wrote on the paper and someone said, no, it couldn't have been a human, it was the pen and the paper. That doesn't mean you didn't write with the pen on the paper. I think saying God shouldn't exist because there are elephants. It's the same. Of course, there could be elephants and God. The way I define God is the consciousness of everything that exists, all anthropomorphized into one. The way that we have different fingers and toes and liver cells and skin cells and whatever, but we're one being. So of course, Like, yeah, the two don't fight at all. I don't understand that way of thinking, but that's with how I define God.
What you think, Jay? I got in trouble the other day for talking about God. So
Yeah, I think I'm a little different than Charis. I think God is a concept created by men, and I think it's a concept created by men to control the thoughts, feelings, and actions of other men. I don't think that I don't think there's an actual types of beings that are out there that can do the things that God is said to have done in the Bible. But we've had gods before that. We've had, Zeus and all the Greek mythos and whatnot. And I don't think those were gods either. I think those were actual flesh and blood people or creatures from other planets that looked very much like us or had some technology that made them to look like us. And we heightened them to the status of God. Now, the galactic consciousness, I agree. There's something to that. The ghost stories. I've done some. I haven't done any ghost investigations, but I have watched a lot of ghost stuff, and I think there's something to that. I think there are some things that are trying to contact us from the other side, beings that were once creatures, humans like us, and they're trying to say something from the other side. But we can't record that. We don't have any science. We don't have high tech enough to record ghosts from the other side. We don't have any kind of scientific data to prove the existence of a God, but we can prove the existence of high technology beings because poof, here we are. We have a high degree of technology, maybe not the highest. And if we were to go back, even right today, if tomorrow we all went to some very exotic place that these some natives had never seen someone like us, and we pull out a cell phone, they're going to think that we're some sort of God. So that the concept of God, I think, is something that's in the brain of the beholder. I don't think there's such a thing as an actual creature that could be considered a god. There may be. The universe is vast. I could be wrong, but until we can prove otherwise.
Are you saying Q doesn't exist? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Q exists, man. Q exists.
There's a Q out there. I mean, there are some.
And I heard God just talking to you a minute ago.
There was some high technology that can do things that are like Q or Trelane, the guy that they modeled Q off of from the original series. I guarantee you, I mean, going back 100 years and getting someone who, even just a modern cowboy who has a handgun and has seen a car drive down New York, you bring him forward to this day, he's going to think he's in, heaven or some other world. He wouldn't believe the things that we can do today, even though there's some books back then that have, what's his name, Jules Verne. There are some of his books that were around during the Civil War. We have the stuff that's in his books. They wouldn't believe it, even if they saw it.
Yeah, creators are weird things for me. So it's, and the creator was trying to tell you God was just trying to tell you something when you was talking. I heard him behind you making noise. So people, and this always gets me in trouble, don't forget, God spelled backwards is what? Dog. And what is the most loyal animal on the planet to man is dog. Well, what I'm saying is,
you want to hear a good anecdote?
Yeah.
So it's actually a joke, but it makes a pretty good anecdote. So there's a gentleman. He's in the ocean. He falls off a boat and he starts drowning. He starts to pray. He's like, "Dear God, please save my life." So another boat comes by, and they say, "Hey, can we help you out?" He says, "No, my God will take care of me." So the boat continues on. He's like, "Dear God, please, I'm drowning. Please send some help. I need help." So a Marine helicopter flies by, and the guy comes down on a rope. I said, "Can we help you?" And the guy says, No, my God is taking care of it. I'll be okay." The helicopter flies away, and finally he goes, "God, please, I really need to be rescued." So a fisherman in a little boat comes by and says, "Hey, can I help you, buddy?" He's like, "No, my God's got me. I'm okay." The fisherman floats away, and the guy drowns. And he gets up to heaven. He's like, "God, why didn't you help me? I prayed for you to help me." He's like, "Dude, I sent a boat, a Marine helicopter, and a fisherman."
I know what do you want, dude?
So if there is a God, we may not recognize it. You never know, because he acts and deals with us in mysterious ways. So says the Bible.
Yes.
Well, the problem
do the whole cosmos, something that's bigger than the whole cosmos. We're on this one little island of Earth, and we think this is everything. And it's one teeny tiny little piece of what's going on. So there's a concept of, I believe we're in a fractal universe. So if we have consciousness, then there are larger fractals of consciousness. But I don't think they look like us. So I think that a larger fractal of consciousness is what people call God. But then you have all the ways that humans have twisted it and made it weird for social control and things like that. And so that's different. So it's like that's why I said, well, what do you define God as? Because I don't think it's a guy with a beard on a cloud. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But people want to think different things, so whatever.
Well, you know,
I think of it like a beach. You know, there's so many people. There's there's so many creatures in the universe, and probably more than you can find. More galaxies and more living planets in this universe that you can find grains of sand on all of the beaches in the universe. And do you think there's going to be a God out there who cares if one little piece of sand goes missing? When he viewed that piece of sand, prays for help. Is he going to be able to help that one little piece of sand? I mean, come on, to think about it, how just the vastness of the universe. There may be a consciousness that I don't think the consciousness is really listening to us or even really gives a shit.
Well, you know, I get in trouble for that all the time too. When I tell people all the time, stop bugging Jesus. There's 8 billion of y'all bugging the shit out the man. Leave him alone. I'm sure God's up there, probably got the Apple tune turned up as loud as he can get it. I'm like, I mean, come on. And I said, think about all the dead people that are already up there. I said, there's 8 billion here and 20 billion up there. God knows what's in the universe itself.
Right.
I'm like, that's a lie. I said, if I was God, I'd just slam my door and say, leave him to bleep alone.
Yeah. No,
but getting back to the dog thing, because Jack. So Jack, no, really. So when they made the word God, it is legitimately dog spelled backwards. So, and I was saying the only animal that jumped across the chasm to stay with man at the great collapse of the universe when we switched over to this life form was the dog. It's the only one that came with us. Everybody else stayed on the other side and said, "Oh, screw them, man. They're crazy." And dog today, easily, if you believe in God, ladies and gentlemen, if you believe in God, ladies and gentlemen, dog could simply be God made manifest on the planet, keeping an eye on your sorry little asses. Because I notice people who own dogs tend to be very happy. People and cats are too.
I have a nice dog here. I'm not a dog. I've never had a dog before, but listen, there is actual research. They cannot find any root causes or words, as all of our other English words come from mostly Europe. They can find no root word for dog. All the root words for dog are canine. No D in it whatsoever.
That's right, because God said, I need to let these stupid humans know I'm going to give them something to keep an eye on them. But no, humans be humans like we are. We can't help ourselves. We're ignorant. Yeah, we ignorant people. If you don't think we're ignorant, take a look around on the planet and then tell me we're not ignorant. I've got a lot of hope for our race. I have a lot. I think the humans, when you look at some of the things we've created, like Mozart and some of the art we've created and some of the beauty we've created, and just even some of the lessons we've created, we're a great species. But by saying that, we're just as ignorant as we are smart.
Jazz.
So somehow or another, we've got to learn some kind of balance. We can't just live on the far ends all the time. It's just not going to happen. Sooner or later, it's going to crack the planet. I said, we've got to learn balance. Yeah, we'll talk about that on Friday's show. But we've talked about religious tolerance. You have to, if you want a peaceful world, you got to get rid of money. Technically, you should get rid of religion, but all you really have to have is religious. You just got to be it doesn't matter what the Muslims think or the Jews think or the Catholics think. None of it matters. It's their religion. You shouldn't get upset because somebody believes differently than you do. That's just ignorance. And well, it's true their God's better. When you get on the other side, their God will go, ha ha, you should have listened to him. But come on. No, people, you can't do that. We got to go. No, we got to go. Chai's got a life. I got a life. Jay's got 4 women waiting for him. I mean, this is crazy. Yeah, he started the harem last week. I'm not sure why.
4 cats, 1 dog.
I told him I thought he was crazy, Yeah. What do you mean? Oh, yeah, it's true. I do have 4 bitches living in the house with me. Yes, I do. Yes, it's just me and 4 bitches. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I'm going to get smacked later for that, I'm sure, by one of them, but still.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you're not getting a hot meal when you get off of this radio.
Y'all be sure to check out Charis. She's all over the place. Just type in her name. It'll be on the website. So you can find her. She's really easy to find. She's got a lot of good stuff. I love listening to her talk. She's got a great voice, and she's usually got a lot of good information, and sometimes she's even funny too. So it's kind of fun. And course, the other day she posted this picture. It looked like Medusa. I was like, "What the hell is this, man?" That shadow picture. I swear, it looks like
Nice.
Medusa. Posted a picture. It's a cool picture, but for some reason, the head. When you wearing curlers or something, it looks like Medusa. You know that
I
picture.
don't even know. You'll have to tell me which one you mean. I'm not even sure.
There
which
was
one
some picture you had up there. It was just a picture of a shadow against the fence. It was a person, whoever it was, and just the head looked like just the top layer of the hair is, I guess, looked like Medusa. I thought maybe it was some curlers.
I don't even know. I'll have to go look.
If I see it, if I see it again, I'll send it to you. But
Yeah.
no, she's not Medusa, dumbass. That was just stupid. What do we have? 12-year-olds in the chat room tonight? I mean, come on. Remember, guys and girls, y'all get me in trouble with Michelle when y'all don't come in the YouTube or the Facebook things. I know I own the network, but she's still a boss. Yeah, she's the boss. I don't know. She's the boss. I don't fight with her. She's the boss. Any manager I've ever had on this network is the boss. I may own it, but they're the boss. Because I can't go around second guessing my managers or I have one. Yeah. Or if it's something she want to deal with, she'll call me and say, "What deal with this bleep, 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 bleep." I can't use her language on the radio, but there's a lot of bleeps in there, as I can tell. She is, I call her the Elvira.
She uses a lot of sentence enhancers.
Yeah. No, I really do. I call her the Elvira Canada. No, she's horny, weird like that. Yes. Look, if somebody's died there or been killed there or murdered there, she wants to go sleep in the bed. She stayed at Blad and Palace Castle. I mean, come on, the woman's insane. Not just that. Anyway, it doesn't matter where. It's been one of the places where
in her radio room.
Yeah, yes, she got all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Oh, I made a move. She has a picture of Blad, the Impaler, right? And when she first started doing radio for me, when I stole her from Niagara Falls radio station, the thing's eyes always looked like it was moving. I said, thing's got to go. I said, "You got to move it. I can't be watching. That's got to go." What do you mean? No, I do tell my host. I tell my host about a lot of things: hair colors, dyed things they do, backgrounds. Oh yeah, look, I'm not bashful about that kind of stuff because if they don't look good, we don't look good. Oh yeah. Well, most of our hosts are really, really pick up now and pay attention to what they look like, what their backgrounds look like, or they put up whatchamacallit backgrounds, green screen backgrounds, stuff like that. But we got to go. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio.
Background like that.
We had the great Charis Melina Brown with us tonight. She's just like I said, she's all over. You can find her. Just look her up on Facebook or Instagram. Don't sass her because she will smack you. What did I tell you? Did I just not tell you how we gotta go? I'm turning y'all off. I ain't even looking over there anymore. Hold on. That way I won't get distracted anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio, UFO Undercover. I hope everyone has a great evening, great morning, great afternoon, wherever you're on this glorious big blue planet of ours. And look, think peace, people. There y'all go. Think peace. Yes. Especially for them morons in the Ukraine and in Israel. Yes. I'm not taking any side. Tune in Friday and you'll hear. No, I still won't be taking a side, but tune in Friday and you'll hear. Because it's too complicated for now. We got to go. Thanks again for hanging out, everybody. Be sure to tune in to The Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Yes, I don't want Amelia slapping on me either. She slaps very hard, or she teases me with food, which is even worse.
Yeah, she sends a lot of food porn on
yes,
Facebook.
She does. Boy, she is a food porn expert. Yeah, I've been calling her FT for a long time. Food tease, yes. Yes, I'm not kidding you. I mean, since I met the girl, she likes to cook. What can I tell you? Anyway, good night, everyone, and not stay tuned. Go check out The Outer Realm with, again, Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. And I hope to see y'all Friday night. If not, hope to see you next Wednesday. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Friday night is a political show. We will be talking politics, and we may offend some people. Yes, we may. Good night, everybody.
Michael Lee Hill of strange objects hovering over Lake Erie. These types of spheres have been seen before, and the team believes he may be experiencing early stages of contact, just like Terrell Copeland of Suffolk, Virginia. But Michael reveals his experience with contact goes much deeper than Terrell's.
I know this is going to sound weird, but I've had contact my whole life. I got memories of what we consider graves now. I woke up, I was getting ready. I looked down and there's blood on the floor. So I wiped it up, went about my business, started to brush my teeth. I looked down, there's more blood. I could never find any incisions or anything or anything weird. A couple days after that, I woke up actually like during people working on me. And I was in a bed strapped down, and I just told this being that was right here to my right, I said, listen, I'm awake, I'm aware, I know what you're doing, and it hurts.
So have you had any subsequent contacts?
One of the weirdest things that have happened is I walked out my back door and there was a little plasma device hovering by my studio. There's 2 spheres on either side of it with a shaft, and each sphere looked like a plasma ball.
Are these spheres outside Michael's home the same spheres Terrell is seeing?
I drive up to this orb, the orb becomes 2 orbs.
We've heard this over and over again.
Yeah,
People
we have.
describe some kind of luminescent light that doesn't actually radiate light.
It
Yeah.
emanates light, it's internal. Now you have the sense that these objects are showing up almost to as a contact to you to guide you along.
I know that they know I'm filming them. I really think I'm in contact with something higher and you didn't listen. That would be probably the stupidest thing you could possibly ever do.
This is an incredible case. He has gone through all 5 close encounters, from the first all the way to direct alien contact.
With Michael and Terrell's footage now in hand, the team has a chance to look at both videos side by side and determine if there is any connection between these 2 possible contactees. Dr. Ted Ackworth has received copies of both Terrell and Michael's footage. He will first attempt to determine whether or not the lights and images can be discounted due to camera flare or other optical interference.
All right, Jeff, we've got these 2 pieces of footage, which Bill and Pat think might be of the same object.
I'm curious why there's a black spot in the center of that object.
Me too. I mean, to me, that screams defocus.
If either of the cameras was not focused correctly, 3 lights could appear to be one. The edges of the light or lights would be blurry, and it would be difficult to tell the size or shape of the objects.
You know, is it chromatic aberration from the electronics in the camera that's making the color changes? I mean, see that the reds that are being introduced.
Chromatic aberration can be caused by the lens of the camera. A lower quality lens cannot focus on more than one color, so colors fringe or bleed into one another, making things unclear.
If it were internal reflection, they would all have to pulse at the same rate. And actually, they don't look like they are.
Do you think we could rule that out?
Probably.
But do these reported UFOs share any common traits with known earthly lights?
It doesn't look like an incandescent light or naturally made by man.
I've never seen anything like that in imagery. I can't explain what that would be from.
The lights not only hover and move, unlike comets or meteors, they do not have the same appearance of FAA lights required for aircraft to display. The differing color and pulses also do not match any known police or military vehicles.
I'm not sure we'll ever be able to back out exactly what's going on.
Could these spheres, seen 500 miles apart, be the same object or group of objects?
At the beginning of the first Terrell Copeland sequence, we are seeing a single point, and that looks something like the Michael Lee Hills.
Side by side, Terrell and Michael's videos both clearly display single-point orbs of light. Their basic appearance and movement are similar, but the camera techniques and shooting conditions are vastly different, making further comparisons difficult to make.
I think I'm seeing some of the same color fringing effects and perhaps some of the same defocus effects. The information contained in the footage is so low. Even with state-of-the-art processing, I'm not sure we'll be able to extract enough information to really tell definitively what these are. Bottom line is it's very hard for these sort of consumer-grade video cameras to take quality images in these conditions.
The team must now look into a new angle of comparison for Terrell and Michael. They seize on perhaps the very best scientific comparison left, Terrell's blood condition. The team brings both Michael and Terrell to Boston to determine once and for all if there is a link between these 2 alleged contactees. The tests are in.
There is an abnormality here.
And the final analysis reveals a remarkable connection.
It looks like what you're looking for, you found.
After investigating the claims of two independent contactees, Terrell Copeland of Suffolk, Virginia, and Michael Lee Hill of Cleveland, Ohio, the team has reassembled in Boston for the final step in the investigation. The team breaks into two groups to bring their subjects to the hospital. Terrell is scheduled to undergo a thorough examination led by one of the leading doctors in the cardiopulmonary field, Dr. David Sistrom.
We're at Massachusetts General Hospital. We're meeting with Dr. David Sistrom, who's the director of the Cardiopulmonary Exercise Laboratory.
Terrell has a history of an elevated level of the enzyme creatine kinase in his blood, a rare disorder that is usually indicative of muscle damage. But how does it relate to alien contact? The team is looking to see if the enzyme is still present today, and for an explanation if it is, one that Terrell's military doctors could not provide. Dr. Sistrom has set up a series of tests for exactly this purpose.
This particular test is a pretty good one at saying, A, are you normal or not compared to people of your age and your body size? A lot of times with disorders of muscle and heart and lungs, we'll only find abnormalities with the stress of exercise. We'll take them up until he can't go any further, and then we hope to get some answers at peak exercise. If there is an abnormality, we can begin to point at the nature of the abnormality. We can determine whether it's your lungs limiting you, whether it's your heart limiting you, or whether it's your muscle limiting you. And that's the important one, I think, from the sound of your history, that we're going to determine whether there's an abnormality of muscle metabolism here.
As Terrell completes his testing, Michael arrives to have his blood drawn for a full analysis as well.
Shortly before we investigated your case in Cleveland, we went out to visit a young ex-Marine in Virginia who's also experiencing UFO sightings, and the video that we looked at seems very similar.
Wow.
However, Terrell, the other gentleman, has a rare blood anomaly.
Right.
So seeing as how you are experiencing UFOs and visitation, we think that you may also have some kind of blood anomaly.
We're going to get Michael Lee Hill's blood tested as well. And if he has high levels of the enzyme CK, that could be the real key to this case.
Interesting thing today is that we have an elevation of the creatine kinase again. But the peculiar thing now, if we're 7 to 8 years out, for it to persist is most unusual.
Normally, elevation of creatine kinase is a sign of muscular injury. For it to have persisted in Terrell's blood for this long suggests that there is another problem altogether.
I'm wondering if the one patient and Terrell Copeland's blood, what you found either similar or dissimilar about their tests.
There was a marker of generic inflammation, not specifically of the muscle, that was abnormally elevated.
Both tests show that Terrell and Michael have an elevation of the enzyme in their blood.
I think that's as far as I can take it in terms of comparisons.
Though the doctor will not speculate if there's a connection between the elevated levels in the two blood samples, or what the source of the anomaly could have been, both Terrell and Michael have the elevated enzyme in common. With these surprising results in, the team decides it's time to bring Terrell and Michael together for the very first time.
Both of you are not abductees, you're contactees. Very unique.
I've seen different crafts, different shapes, sizes. A lot of times I know they're out because whenever I feel this, it's not an energy that you can hear, but you can feel it. And I know that they're out. I think it's some type of communication. Every year it's kind of progressed where they've got closer and closer. I truly believe that that's what all this is leading to, a meeting with biological entities. You have no doubt that something's in communication with you because it will grow to the point where it'll take all doubt away.
Now that Terrell and Michael have discovered they share similar experiences of contact, the team reveals the astonishing results of their tests.
We found something pretty interesting. In both cases, you have an elevated level of CK, or what's called creatine kinase. Terrell, in your case, because we were able to do those cardiopulmonary tests, Dr. Sistrom felt this elevated level of CK was directly related to your muscle tissue. Mike, in your case, he didn't have enough information to know what the source of your elevated CK was. He just figured it was a more general sort of systemic elevation. Perhaps you could share some kind of common unusual physiological trait in your blood
Didn't this just prove that? I mean,
It tells me that were I to do any kind of medical testing on self-described contactees, I would certainly look for that as a marker to facilitate a certain level of contact.
Bill, that would be a pretty interesting experiment. If we collected together a dozen or 2 dozen abductees and tested their CK level, which is easy enough to do just with a simple blood test, it would be pretty interesting to find that if across all 12 or 24 people that was present, that would be pretty compelling.
to find out that he shares some of my experiences, even some of my blood characteristics, that's just phenomenal.
There are some really interesting connections between the cases of Michael and Terrell. I just don't know if we're looking at just UFO sightings or if these guys have actually made alien contact.
Some of the video footage looked like it might have some similarities. Maybe they were looking at the same thing. As far as a blood test goes, we did a comprehensive set of blood analyses. The only thing that we found that was unusual across the 2 sets was the cytokines.
I think that they are definitely connected in some way because we got 2